Welcome to the Ukraine War Monitor. In this video, we'll be discussing the impact of the war in Ukraine on the country's economy. The conflict, which started in 2014, has had a profound effect on the Ukrainian economy. We'll be examining the various ways in which the war has impacted the country's economy and the challenges that lie ahead for Ukraine. Let's get started. The impact of the war on the Ukrainian economy. Before we delve into the impact of the war, let's briefly overview the Ukrainian economy prior to the conflict. Ukraine was a middle-income country with a diverse economy, including industries such as agriculture, manufacturing, and services. However, the economy was heavily dependent on Russia for energy supplies and trade, making it vulnerable to changes in the Russian economy. Overview of the Ukrainian economy. The conflict in Ukraine began in 2014 with the annexation of Crimea by Russia. Since then, the war has escalated, with fighting in the Donbas region in eastern Ukraine. The war has had a significant impact on the Ukrainian economy, with multiple sectors affected. Impact of the war. The first impact of the war was the loss of the Crimean Peninsula, which was an important tourist destination and a source of income for Ukraine. The annexation of Crimea by Russia led to a loss of income for Ukraine, as well as a loss of assets such as oil and gas fields, which were in the region. The loss of the Crimean Peninsula in 2014 was a significant blow to the Ukrainian economy. The region was an important economic center with a strong tourism industry, and its annexation by Russia led to the loss of significant economic resources. In addition, the loss of the Black Sea port of Sevastopol disrupted Ukraine's access to international shipping routes, making it more difficult for the country to trade with other countries. Impact on agriculture. Agriculture is another sector that has been significantly impacted by the war. Many farmers in eastern Ukraine have been unable to plant or harvest crops due to the fighting, and the loss of the access to markets in Russia has hurt the country's agricultural exports. The conflict has also led to the destruction of farmland, making it more difficult for farmers to operate. Impact on energy. Energy is a critical sector for Ukraine's economy, and the conflict has had a significant impact on the country's energy resources. The fighting in eastern Ukraine has disrupted the country's coal and gas production, leading to shortages and higher prices. The conflict has also damaged critical energy infrastructure, including power lines and gas pipelines, which has disrupted energy supplies. Human cost of the war. The war has had a significant human cost, with thousands of lives lost and many people displaced from their homes. The conflict has led to a significant increase in poverty and unemployment, particularly in the areas affected by the fighting. The displacement of people has also put a strain on the country's social services, including healthcare and education, foreign aid and assistance. Ukraine has received significant foreign aid and assistance in response to the conflict. The United States, European Union, and other countries have provided financial and material support to Ukraine, including military aid, humanitarian aid, and economic assistance. This aid has helped to alleviate some of the economic impact of the war and provided critical support to people affected by the conflict. Prospects for peace. Despite the challenges, there are some signs of hope for the future of Ukraine. The ceasefire agreement reached in July 2020 has held in some areas, and there have been some small steps toward a peaceful resolution of the conflict. The recent appointment of a new president in Ukraine and a new administration in the United States may also provide opportunities for renewed diplomatic efforts to end the conflict. Loss of Crimean Peninsula. One of the biggest impacts of the war on the Ukrainian economy was the loss of the Crimean Peninsula to Russia in 2014. Crimea was an important economic hub for Ukraine, contributing to over 8% of the country's GDP. The loss of this territory resulted in a significant blow to the Ukrainian economy. Loss of trade with Russia. Another impact of the war was the loss of trade with Russia. Prior to the conflict, Russia was Ukraine's largest trading partner, accounting for nearly a quarter of Ukraine's trade. However, as tensions between the two countries escalated, Russia imposed trade restrictions on Ukraine, resulting in a significant reduction in trade. This had a major impact on the Ukrainian economy, particularly on the manufacturing and agricultural sectors. Displacement of people. The displacement of people is another impact of the war on the Ukrainian economy. The The war has resulted in the displacement of over 1.5 million people, many of whom were forced to flee their homes and relocate to other parts of the country. This has put a strain on the resources of the host communities, including housing, healthcare, and education, resulting in additional costs to the Ukrainian economy. Infrastructure damage. Another significant impact of the war on the Ukrainian economy is the damage to the country's infrastructure. The conflict has caused significant damage to roads, bridges, buildings, and other critical infrastructure across the country. This damage has disrupted transportation routes and supply chains, making it difficult for businesses to operate efficiently. Many factories and industrial plants were destroyed during the conflict, and many others had to shut down due to lack of access to raw materials and markets. As a result, the industrial sector, which was once a significant contributor to the Ukrainian economy, has been severely impacted. Impact on trade and investment. The war has also had a significant impact on trade and investment in Ukraine. With the ongoing conflict, many countries have imposed economic sanctions on Russia, which has hurt Ukraine's economy due to the close trade ties between the two countries. In addition, the conflict has made it difficult for foreign investors to do business in Ukraine, as the security situation is unpredictable and the risk of conflict escalation is high. The lack of foreign investment has made it harder for the country to develop its infrastructure, which is necessary for economic growth. Impact on human capital. The war has also had a significant impact on Ukraine's human capital. Many skilled professionals, including doctors, engineers, and IT specialists, have left the country in search of better opportunities elsewhere. This brain drain has hurt the country's economic development and slowed down progress in key sectors. In addition, the conflict has disrupted education, with many schools and universities forced to close or relocate due to the security situation. This has limited access to education and training for many young people, reducing their chances of finding employment in the future. Corruption. Corruption has been a significant issue in Ukraine for many years, and the war has only exacerbated the problem. The conflict has created an environment where corrupt practices are more prevalent, as many businesses and individuals are looking for ways to survive in a difficult economic environment. This has had a significant impact on foreign investment and international aid, as donors are reluctant to provide support to countries with high levels of corruption. Future of Ukraine. Looking to the future, Ukraine still faces many challenges in rebuilding and recovering from the war. The country needs to invest in infrastructure, education, and innovation to rebuild its economy and create new opportunities for growth. It's also essential to continue working to attract foreign investment and increase trade with other countries. As the security situation stabilizes, it will be important to rebuild trust between Ukraine and Russia and work towards a peaceful resolution of the conflict. In conclusion, the war in Ukraine has had a significant impact on the country's economy, from the loss of the Crimean Peninsula to the infrastructure damage and the impact on trade and investment. The conflict has disrupted the Ukrainian economy in several ways. The loss of Crimea had a severe impact on the Ukrainian economy. It not only resulted in the loss of a critical source of income from tourism and industry, but also left a large number of Ukrainian citizens in a vulnerable position. The annexation of Crimea also affected Ukraine's gas supplies, which was a significant source of revenue for the country. This situation created challenges for Ukraine to pay for imports, which led to higher energy prices and inflation. The infrastructure damage caused by the war has also impacted the Ukrainian economy. The conflict has destroyed critical infrastructure like roads, bridges, buildings, and factories. It has also disrupted transportation routes and supply chains, making it difficult for businesses to operate efficiently. The destruction of factories and industrial plants has resulted in a significant loss of jobs and has severely impacted the industrial sector. The war has had an adverse impact on Ukraine's trade and investment. With the ongoing conflict, many countries have imposed economic sanctions on Russia, which has affected Ukraine's economy due to the close trade ties between the two countries. The conflict has also made it difficult for foreign investors to do business in Ukraine, making it harder for the country to develop its infrastructure and create new opportunities for growth. While the conflict continues to be a challenge, it's essential to work towards a peaceful resolution to the people and focus on rebuilding the economy to create a brighter future for the Ukrainian people. Thank you for watching this video on the impact of the war on the Ukrainian economy for the Ukraine War Monitor channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more updates on the conflict.